Today's video is on a charity that's very well endorsed by the rich and famous. That is Choose Love.
Please help however you can. It's Choose Love time.
If I was a celebrity, I would be wearing, as they do often, a t-shirt saying Choose Love, my sunglasses. I'd probably be round at my friend's house. It wouldn't be a barbecue because we'd probably be vegans or just eating something more fabulous. Maybe we'd be having like a cheese party with some vegan cheese in our Choose Love t-shirts. Anyway, if you're wondering what Choose Love is, so it's a registered charity in the UK, and there's also a US version, Choose Love Inc., which George Soros has funded. Is there anything he hasn't funded? And it describes itself as a movement of people who are using love to make the world a better place. And on social media, it posts quite simplistic messages like, refugees welcome here and choose love over hate, stand with refugees. You know, all this sort of John Lennon Imagine-esque content. Basically, the world is just a simple case of whether you choose love or not. Maybe you choose hate. Maybe you're part of the evil far right that is a bit concerned about borders. Anyway, which celebrities endorse Choose Love? Louis Theroux.
Important to support refugees because, as we're taught from birth, from early childhood, we should be kind.
Nish Kumar. You might be wondering who Nish Kumar is. He's a comedian, apparently, but he has a podcast. He's very far left. He's got a podcast called Pod Save the UK. No one's heard of it apart from me because I research left-wing networks. Deborah Frances-White, she's another comedian. She was on Trigonometry fairly recently. She ran a podcast called The Guilty Feminist.
As you can see here, love has no borders.
And I've never seen her comedy, but apparently some people pay for it. Another comedian, Grace Campbell, you could describe her as a Nepo baby because her dad is Alistair Campbell. There's also Tamsin Outhwaite. She's an actress. She was in EastEnders a while ago, and you see her outside the store. A few of them wore this coat with hearts on it, and it's really furry and fabulous. And choose love, darling. Look at us in our fabulous coats is the kind of impression they want you to think. Amy Lou Wood, the actress, so more going up the celebrity. Ascending the celebrity scale from Nish Kumar to Amy Lou Wood.
My pick is toiletries and period products. I'm going to get this for my mum because then I'll know that this Christmas her gift actually means something.
Ashley Roberts, she's a pussycat doll, was a pussycat doll.
So many amazing things to choose from, but I've gone for the bundle of love because if I'm honest with you, I saw the LGBTQIA thing right away and I was like, absolutely.
Very high in the VIP stakes, Chris Martin from Coldplay. He recently played at the Choose Love pop-up store. I'll get onto this more in a second. So he sang a lovely song there to show that he chooses love, right? Maybe you don't, but Chris Martin does. Also Sharon Horgan. She's an actor and writer, and she designed a top for Choose Love. And you'll see her, she does this pout for the top, and she clearly thinks she's incredibly fabulous. She's sort of like, and Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, not quite an A-lister, but he does sort of think he's a global superstar, and he visited the pop-up store recently. And here's a little coincidence. George Soros, in addition to having funded Choose Love Inc. in the US, he also funds C40 Cities, which Sadiq Khan is co-chair of. He's not the only funder, but he's certainly a very prominent one who has given a lot to this global blob of doom. Anyway, so what is this pop-up store all about? So many celebrities that were there recently. It was like the place to be seen. Like, you know, you kind of imagine that over Christmas, they're sort of like, what did you do over Christmas? Oh, darling, it was so busy, but I did make time to volunteer at the Choose Love store. Anyway, so inside the store, because I went and did a recce, there's 2 floors. So we can assume that this charity that had a pop-up store for a couple of weeks in Regent Street has a lot of money to afford those 2 big floors. And when you come into the store, there was a big globe that says "Love has no borders." There are some DJ decks, and there were lots of DJs that came and played at the Choose Love store, and it was a really good sort of self-promotion exercise. I saw the trans flag a few times, Love Palestine stuff, and often combined. And another thing on the upstairs floor was a sort of Santa's grotto where you could take your child, and outside the grotto there were books including What is Racism and Migrant. There was a coffee stand, and a lot of the stuff in the store has been donated on the first floor. The store's come down, by the way, but there were like Louboutins, really expensive things. There were Paloma Thief t-shirts because she's a little bit woke too. But yeah, the expense of the items was really interesting because it tells you who this is all pitched at. Like I say, it's for the rich and fabulous to show at their evening dues or their casual dues and their Choose Love shirt that they are good people. Anyway, I would like to sum up this video by talking about some of the things that Choose Love and the celebrities don't really want to talk about, which is their vision, how it actually works in practice. I always say that in the UK we essentially have de facto open borders. There is just very little control. There are so many cases now of migrant crimes or asylum seeker crimes. I just like to talk about a handful of victims, and I'm not saying everyone coming into the UK is all the same. There are some really genuine people that need help, but the problem with Choose Love is it just totally dismisses the problems at the borders. It just is a binary. Choose love or else. Or else what? You're a fascist, far right presumably. Or you choose hate. Is that what they're trying to say? So let's talk about some of the victims of our borders. What about Rhiannon White? In 2024, this poor woman was working at an asylum hotel and she was followed home by a Sudanese asylum seeker who stabbed her to death with a screwdriver 23 times. And this is someone who was working at an asylum hotel. She was helping in that capacity. Did she not choose love? Are you going to tell her family? Are you going to tell people that are affected by these crimes to choose love? You actually have to block out what's happened to them and ignore these crimes in order to continue with that position. What about Wayne Broadhurst, the poor man who was also stabbed to death in a really vicious attack last year in Uxbridge, and an Afghan asylum seeker who was who was allowed to stay, has been charged with his murder, along with the attempted murder of his landlord and a 14-year-old boy. Then let's take a look at Brenda Blaney, and she's an 87-year-old woman who helped an Iranian asylum seeker. He was actually in the UK illegally. He had been refused asylum and lost an appeal as well for it. Someone so kind as to offer up her home and help out this Iranian man in the country, stabbed to death, and it was really brutal as well. We need better borders, we need better security, and these celebrities are glossing over that and turning borders into a fashion symbol.